welcome back to City Planner Plays, where we are building the city of Verde Beach. And in today's episode, we are going to try to remedy this traffic problem that we have in our original industrial area. So there's a lot of different things happening here right now. We have a cargo train terminal, we have a post office distribution center, we have, let's see what else we have here. We have this waste transfer facility and a road maintenance depot, and I violated some of my own core rules here, and I've concentrated a variety of uses that have a high trip generation in one area. And to top it off, we have an issue occurring due to the success of our bike network. And if you look in here, there are cyclists everywhere, and it's causing traffic to back up. So I think that we're going to try to remedy this issue by distributing some of our uses through here. So we have one post office, one post sorting facility here. We're going to get a second one. We're going to separate this bike network and take it off the road and make an off-street network with connections in to key destinations. And at the end of the episode, if we have time, we will do some roadway naming. So let's get started. The very first thing I want to do is take an inventory of the condition of our road. So I've poked into this a little bit, and when we take a look, we look at the coverage of our road maintenance facilities, and we see that a lot of the new areas that we put together, and even some of the old ones, are completely uncovered. So what that's doing is causing the condition of our roads everywhere to deteriorate. So that's going to slow things down. And considering that our traffic flow is under 80, I'm a little concerned. So I've seen this get as low as 75, and this is kind of the point where if you don't take care of it now, it will begin to break down. So I'd rather be proactive about this and make a couple changes. So to start out, we were working on this area last time, this area that has a number of helicopter depots. I want to try to fit more in here, and I think I missed the mark in a couple of different ways. I want to slide this police department over for a second, because I think I can add another road in here. And if I can fit another road in, I might be able to fit a few more buildings. So probably not a dirt road. That's not going to work so well. Okay, so now I was able to relocate the taxi depot back there. I think I could probably fit a road maintenance depot back here, which is a nice way to kind of tuck it behind everything, where, you know, in a location where maybe we don't mind that it's back here. That said, this road that I just created, Elizabeth Street, which it won't remain, I want that to turn a little bit. Let's try to get this to be a little bit further away. Well, no, that's not going to work. Never mind. Let's put it right back where it was. So I went back and forth here a minute. I wish that I could tuck this building a little bit closer to this police helicopter depot, but it's not going to let me. I just hate how close this is to the rail line. I think I've got to do something to try to get this to be a little better. It's just really kind of a struggle. Okay, so I'm going to turn all of my snap twos off, and hopefully I can get this to work. Angle might be the only one I want to keep on, but even that, yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be too much too. All right, so that works a lot better in my mind. So now we'll be able to have this back here. We have our taxi depot. This is in my mind significantly more efficient use of that land, and now maybe there's a way that I can get this this post office or post sorting facility back in this area. That said, I need this waste transfer facility to empty before I can do that because I'm going to relocate this. So I think temporarily I'm going to remove this. I will figure this out in a second. We are going to use a little bit of eminent domain, eliminate one business in favor of having our post sorting facility over here. So again, I'm concentrating all of these uses, which didn't work last time, but I think it's going to work a little bit better this time, simply because we don't have that cargo train terminal, which is a huge problem in the other area. So there is absolutely no room to fit in the waste transfer facility in this area the way I wanted to, and that's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. I think what we're going to do is put in a couple of recycling centers and have the exact same purpose met. And by a couple, I meant one. Because nothing else is going in here. And I do think we're going to add in a couple of commercial buildings just to tuck this away and make it feel a little bit more, I guess, isolated from everything else that's happening. We'll add in some trees as well to hide this. So that landscaping serves a couple of purposes. Number one, it hides it and screens it from surrounding uses. And number two, it adds a little bit of sound buffering, because that is one thing that you would expect to see from a recycling center. That said, these are commercial buildings, so they're okay with a little bit of noise. I still want to try to protect them if at all possible. If it were me and I had a business right there, the last thing I'd want to hear is a bunch of clanking cans in the background of my business. It would drive me insane. So I'm going to try to be conscientious of that. So hopefully this will help us with some of our issues that we were seeing with traffic over here, because we are just totally backed up. So that is going to take a little bit of time. So while that's happening, I want to plan a new bike route through here. You can see that there's just a ton of traffic here. In fact, let's go look at our routing. I have all the cyclists selected. Let's look at this road. That traffic, that cyclist traffic, is out of this world, and it's going right through this district for no apparent reason, except that I put a bike network through here. So this is a problem of my own creation. So it's a problem that I can correct on my own. And truthfully, I wouldn't want to be a biker through here anyway. Can you imagine being one of these cyclists? And you saw them kind of scoot over from through a truck. Not a comfortable ride. You would have to be a very confident cyclist. This isn't a place that you'd expect kids to be. It's not a place where you'd expect someone who is not a confident cyclist to even consider a route. But I think that we can make a route that will serve not only utilitarian transportation purposes, but also act as a recreational facility. So the way that we're going to do that is I want to snake a road. I want to snake an off-street multi-use path through here underneath this bridge. I want to make a connection over here and a connection over here as well. We're going to find a good way to connect this into the bike network over here. And one of the things that we're going to struggle with is I don't want to use eminent domain for a bike path. It's just not reasonable. That doesn't happen. It would never happen. So there will still be a little bit of conflict. There's going to be a couple challenging spots, I guess, to say the least. But I think that we can overcome some of it. So let's get started. And I'm going to start in a place that's not so conventional, and that is creating some overpasses. So I think the first one I want to do is actually right over here. So I look at this, and I think this is going to be a place that maybe we want to try to make a connection onto the road here. We want to make a connection to this path that we're going to create over here, and a connection across the road to go under this bridge, which will eventually have a flyover, come in here, and then go underneath to make a connection somewhere in here. We might do the unthinkable and use eminent domain on one small house. we will see if we have to go there. There might be another way to make a connection, say maybe right here, but it's going to be a challenge. But either way, I think that some of these bridges are the most important things that we are going to do. So I like to use grid and angle when I'm creating these, and you can kind of see I'm already snapping to this grid, and that's incredibly helpful. So I'm going to back this out a couple of tiles so I have some room to work. I'm going to go up 2. I've already got this set to just one step. First I want to see if that's enough to get over the road. It is not. So let's try one more time. Okay, so this might not be totally intuitive just yet, what I'm thinking, but I think you're going to see the method to my madness in just a second. So I want to make a connection to this road, and then I also want to make a smooth connection to what will be our path network. And this is going to give people the ability to either hop on the road or go up this bridge. I am upgrading this to a multi-use path, the bicycle path. And now we have a nice way to get over. I'm going to add a bike facility to this road. So I am going to add just a guideline just temporarily so that I can make that connection exactly where I want it to be. Space already occupied. Interesting. I think the most interesting part though is that these cars are dipping into the road after I put this connection in. And it looks like the clearance to our bridge is insufficient. Well, I have to fix this bridge already. So I might call a mulligan on the placement of these pillars and get that fixed. I'm going to stop this momentarily. I do want to get that clearance fixed, but if I'm going to do that, I might as well change where I'm going to start my multi-use or my bike lanes in my road. So now I have a nice connection into this area, so long as I add some bike lanes or a bike trail that goes to this point. Okay, so we've got a problem with our trains, and the problem is that these pillars are just not high enough. So let's take care of that now. Okay, that is much better. I might back this out and try to get as smooth of a slope as I can. And by using the freeform tool and my road guidelines, I'm able to get as close as I can without it kind of messing up. Perfect. So we're going to do the exact same thing over here. So I think this one's probably in a good spot, but let's back it out and we'll try with one of them anyway. Yeah, it was pretty close, but we can... It's kind of funny. I think it ends up almost exactly the same, just a little bit more there. So we'll still I'll play ball. I'll still add that connection right there. So this is probably the most important part of everything that we're doing, because we are totally taking this off street, adding some very expensive bridges. And what I want to do is also stop the bike connection through here. So this connection, I think, I don't want to make it, not in this way. So I think we're going to actually terminate this at the path and eliminate it from here. I think it's important to serve these industrial areas with bike paths and bike lanes, but this isn't the way that I want to accomplish that. I think it's not the most efficient and effective way, and we're gonna try to figure out something that's a little bit more effective. So now we have this nice connection here, and I'm gonna meander this through the trees. One of the things I think that would be a consideration would be the existing trees. We'd want to not take out more than we have to. And now we're going to have a bridge that goes up and over. So there are two ways that we could accomplish this. So I could try to make a connection right here, and that might be our easiest way now that I think about it. I could disconnect this trail right here and kind of just retrofit this in. Yeah, this is going to definitely be our easiest path to getting this done. Now I'm going to keep my angle and my freeform tool because I want this to be a very gentle curve. Now the reason for that is, these are cyclists, so these cyclists are going to really value the ability to move quickly. So this is unfortunate. So I don't think it's reasonable to have a bridge this long. So I think that we're going to try to do kind of a loopy sort of connection. The main reason for that is I'm struggling with this a little bit. This is not, bike and ped bridges are incredibly expensive, and you don't want to make the spans any bigger than they have to be. These are controversial, generally. They're very useful, and once they're built, people enjoy them. But that doesn't mean that when they're going in, people understand or appreciate the cost of them. That said, it's like any infrastructure. It's all very expensive, and if it's built correctly, it'll last a long time. So it's worth making the investment up front to do it right, rather than to try to retrofit in something that doesn't work in the future. So we have the space now, so we should do it. And this is junk land right back here. There's nothing we're gonna do here besides landscape. So why not have a bike connection through here? What else are you gonna do? Okay, so we have an opportunity here to make a connection to the train station, and we absolutely should. I'm just trying to recall the exact location you can make that connection. It looks like it's at the edge of the platforms. I thought it was near this building. That doesn't look like it's gonna work. I'm gonna put a couple of these in, and then we'll see where people are actually using it, and make our decision accordingly. So I also want to put one on the other side. We have the ability, we have the space to do so. And if I hug it right along the railroad track, I think it's a pretty logical location for it. Ooh, really don't like what that did here, so I might give that another go. Much better. I like that a lot more. So these are some good connections now. We just need to finish off and make a connection to this other path. So I might actually delete the path I just put in, because I'm afraid that I am going to need the span to be a little bit longer. That is a very long bridge, but I think it's going to work. Okay, so now it's just upgrading a couple of roads, and I'll probably leave the striping right there. There's no reason not to. From a cost standpoint in the game, having bike lanes doesn't add anything over a normal road. And in reality, if you have bike lanes, I don't really envision a scenario where you'd ever consider taking them away. I'm trying to recall a time that has happened. It would maybe for a safety concern, but that's about it. I haven't ever done it, I guess. I'll put it that way. All right, so now we have one of our most challenging areas completed. Oh, and I really don't like the way this bridge looks. I might try to play with this just a little bit more. Oh, this is even worse. That is a very steep bridge. I think we'd probably rather have some sort of curve, kind of like some sort of spiral ramp or something like that, or maybe even something like this, but this is probably as good as it gets right here. It's not beautiful, but it's functional. I also think with the proximity of this bike rack, or this bike route to the train tracks, we would certainly want some sort of fence. The last thing we want is someone to bail and get hit by a train. Maybe a little bit of landscaping to jazz this up, make it feel a little less, I don't even know what I would call this. Kind of a transportation jumble in this area. But the reality is this is a really high quality bicycle facility. This would be a showcase of the community, and having some sort of landscaping, I honestly, I don't know how you wouldn't want to do that. I think over here I'm going to kind of go back to some of that deciduous landscaping. Not as many palm trees, if any. So as I make this gigantic fire hazard over here, it makes me think, there have been a number of suggestions that I try to remedy the fire issues in this area. So I'm going to try one thing. I don't have a priority for helicopters over in this area. So I am going to add that right now while I'm thinking about it. I don't know how much this is going to impact things, but it certainly can't hurt anything. So I do need to have a district because I don't want the entire city to have this policy applied to it. Let's make this the Verde Beach Fire Protection Zone. Because what else would it be? So just one policy that I care about in here. Helicopter priority. All right, so I think that's a really, really, really important policy here. Hopefully that makes the difference. So I don't think that the smoke detector distribution is going to do anything here, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. See if there's anything else that we could apply that might improve things. We'll make it a fast recovery area. I don't think that that's going to help, but we'll we'll give that one a shot too. And I think that that's kind of all that we have. I think the smoking ban is citywide. Yeah. So I think we're good. I think we're good there. I am noticing one thing though. Look at this. The Goodall Institute for Conservation is now a 5-star university. We finally crossed the threshold for both attractiveness and the number of students. Now, I think that has a lot to do with this new area. In the Discord server, there were people that were suggesting that potentially the reason why this wasn't getting utilized is that there's a radius that people are willing to travel to get to school, which is crazy. I mean, if you think about it, they're saying I'm unwilling to drive more than this radius to get to the dorm where I'm going to live. But if that is what it is, it does make some sense. And the way to fix that would have been to spread these dorms out throughout the campus. That could be something that we do in the future, but for now, I'm happy-ish. I think that building out the subway line might have also helped. Maybe we'll do that in the future as well. Okay, back to our bike network. So we need connections through here. And I do want to have another connection that meets up on this side of the road. I think we're going to have another ramp. Otherwise, there's not really a way to get to either the campus or the stadium. So we could have 2 ramps, but really we only need 1. So I'm trying to figure out the most effective route. We already have a connection over here. Yeah, I think I might actually connect it up to the university. Or is there another way that I can make a connection across? Not really. Maybe we'll just leave that. It's a parallel route anyway. There's this other route over here. It's not totally necessary. If anything, the route that's missing is a connection directly from here. So I'm just seeing this now. If you were to come across here and you would go over this bridge, you're forced to go left or right rather than straight to the on-street bike facility. So let's make that quick connection. So probably getting a little bit off track here with some of these bike connections, but I do think that this is very, very, very important. Okay, so that's a good connection there. I know that we're going to want to cross Keller House, though, to get for two reasons. Number one, we're going to want to have a flyover to get over here and make a connection to this new district. And number two, we are going to want to make it across by this high school. So this is going to be a more challenging connection. I'm going to start a bridge over here and make it across Keller House. And then we'll have another flyover bridge to get over here. I'm not exactly sure the best place to connect over here at this point in time. I'm thinking that it's probably right here, but it's going to be lumpy and bumpy and terrible. Yeah, that's pretty horrible, all because of this new post-transfer facility. I wonder. Call a mulligan for a quick second. I wish I could have just moved that, but it's just not gonna... That's not gonna be a reality for me right there. And I can already see it's not gonna make a difference. It's one of those unfortunate things. I just spent a whole bunch of money deleting that building only to have the exact same situation occur. The only way to fix it is likely to raise this rail line. I'm not gonna do that. So I might do the unthinkable in this particular area and have a slight bridge. And I wish that I could make this a boardwalk, because that's reasonably what it would likely be. We'll have this come back here. I wish that there was a good place for me to make a connection through here. I just don't think that one exists. And as I say that, I find one. So I guess that's the way it goes. This again is going to be one of those grading messes. I do have the connection through here though. So since I had that, I'm going to call a mulligan on this crazy bridge and add a rational slope in this area and hopefully remedy all of those issues that we were having. Either way, there's a lot of ugly stuff happening in this area with slopes. I'd love to get it cleaned up at some point in time. Probably not today. Okay, I made it. So now the main concern I have is I need to cross this with a flyover, and I need to get across Keller House. So let's get back to our grid. See, that's not going to work here. So let's get across the road. Maybe that's our first challenge here. So I'm going to turn off the grid because it's not helping me. It's making me go a little bit longer than maybe I want to. Okay, so now I want to do... I'll put road length back on because I want to do 2 tiles. We'll go down. And then we'll ramp down to this existing pedestrian facility. And I think just kind of accept that this is kind of a weird location. That is really steep. Wow, that is crazy steep. That's not going to work. So I think there's another option. And that option, first of all, let's get rid of some of this landscaping so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to make a connection back to the road. So now we have a nice smooth ramp there. And then I'm going to add another pedestrian connection. We'll redo that. considering this was all fences anyway, and empty green space, I think that we are okay to call a bit of a mulligan in this area. The part I can't stand is I'm using the grid as my guide, and I'd love to be able to just kind of come over here and, oh, maybe I can. Maybe I need to stop whining. Because, well, no, I can still keep whining. This is still problematic. So basically, I'd love to get this closer, but it's not going to let me because it's snapping to a whole bunch of stuff it doesn't need to. So I am going to use eminent domain in an absolutely ridiculous location, take down this building for a bike path, and unfortunately, I think that's the only one that I've done so far. But this is such an important connection. This connects us to a school. This connects us close to... Oh, no, just kidding. I was going to say close to the metro station, but that's way over here. It's still not that far, though. I'm gonna add one palm tree, just kind of cover some of this nastiness up. I also removed a significant amount of landscaping through here. I know that we wouldn't be very excited about some of these branches going across onto the trail, so we'll get rid of those. And I think it's a nice connection now. So there is a bike network over here, and we should probably make a connection to that. I think right now it ends over here. I think I'm going to extend that just a little ways. And now you can at least make the connection, even though you're dodging pedestrians for a little while. That's a much better connection. At this point, I've had this paused for a little while. I can resume this. There's no reason to have it paused anymore. We had that paused for the rail. So we have one more bridge to make, and I'm going to make that connection right now, and that's right across this rail corridor. And again, angle and road length. And I'm just going to make a nice connection right up to this bridge, and we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. All right, now with those bridges in place, we can make our major path connection right through these trees. This would be an absolutely glorious ride. Can you imagine being right in the middle of the city and having the opportunity to bike through a forest? That is the stuff of dreams right there. And I'm looking forward to once we start to see some activity here. I think we're going to do a quick ride through there and see how that turns out. I do want to do a bit of detailing, though. You do see people already using this. That's fantastic. We are missing a connection through, so we're going to make that. Oh, this kills me. So the only way that I could actually make this look right would be to add a road. So I'm going to use eminent domain anyway, even though the whole thing I was trying to do was avoid doing that. If it's any solace to those people, I'll give them their land back. And it's still, okay. Sometimes you just gotta take your lumps, and this is getting awful lumpy. So since I've already destroyed everyone's livelihood in this area, I might as well have the perfect path connection. Because I've really struggled with this, apparently. Now it's perfect. Now I love it. Now it's great. Why am I doing this? Never mind. No, I've got to. So if I'm going to use eminent domain, I'm going to make it perfect. And perfect would be to have this connection come right in at this crosswalk. Why would you want people to overshoot their destination? You wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to redo this, continue to destroy people's livelihoods, and businesses and feel bad about it. But if it's going to be perfect, it's going to be perfect. That's much better. So I want to put some more landscaping in through here. I think that we're in a spot where we can do that. Now, before we do that, I am noticing, again, we have a very close train and path connection, so I do think that we are going to add a bit of a fence here. At this point, I might as well finish. So, I'm so close. Okay, much better. Look at all this use. I am really, really excited about this. This is it's one of those builds that I thought about this. I wasn't sure how it was gonna work. I sandboxed it. It seemed to go okay, and I'm even happier with it now. Okay, that's the connection that's working over here. Get rid of that one, that crazy one. We're also gonna downgrade. Oh, again, an ugly connection. Okay, I'm just gonna have to stop. Because I think I could drive myself crazy looking at that, thinking, if I were only just a little bit different. I could also fix it by... No. It's just... It's going too far. I'm going to take a step back. So we're not all fixed up here. I'm going to speed things up a little bit and see if that helps at all. We have had this thing paused. I shouldn't have had it paused. I'm going to finish up landscaping and see what it looks like. Okay, now this to me looks a heck of a lot more Verde Beach now that we've added this in there. So I'm really excited about this. One thing that I want to do, let's slow it down and follow somebody. Let's follow Carol Cooper. Great views of Keller House. Carol, you're going the wrong way. I don't want to go over here. Oh, there's some trees. Oh, that is bumpy and lumpy. Carol's a champ. She is fine. Just going straight through. And look at these views of these buildings. At ground level, it feels great. I love this. And this is the way that if it were me, at a place like Verde Beach, which apparently has no rain and you can clip through vehicles, this would be a great way to experience it. And that stark concrete building. Yeah, what a great way to experience the city. All right, so we can take a break from Carol's tour of the city because I really want to see what it looks like down this path. So, Ashlyn Richardson, let's follow you. Now, this is exactly what I was hoping for. It feels like a park. It's a fantastic setting. Now, there are places where I think we could get a little more detailed with the landscaping, but truthfully, the mix of trees is good, and it feels good. And these are the kinds of things that create a sense of place. Something that's unique to this city. You get the train going by. You have Keller House over there. You have trees. You get views of the university. you'd have cheering of the crowd on game day. And you're biking down this serene path with these decorative lights. What more could you ask for? I mean, in terms of, this is a bike arterial, and that's not something that many places can claim to have. This would make, in my mind, Verde Beach a very strong contender for a really high ranking as a bike-friendly community. That's something that I've applied for. It's a ranking here in America of cities. Madison is a platinum city, I believe, at this point. Boulder, I think, is Boulder, Colorado is the other one. Verde Beach would be right up there at this point. There's bike facilities all over the place. Some of the things that are missing are like, I would think having some sort of physically separated on-street facility, which you can't do in the game, but having a concrete barrier between the cyclists and the vehicles, that would make a huge improvement. But better than that is having off-street paths everywhere, and having them actually go places to destinations, and year after year making improvements to the bike network. And that is something that we've done here in Verde Beach. It's getting better and better all the time. So, and you can see that, you can bike with your dog and get to wherever you're going. So, very good. I don't know where Ashlyn's going, but she's clearly going quite a distance. Let's see. Where is she going? She's going home. So that's quite a ways. Her police headquarters. Wow. That's where she biked from. So that is a demonstration, first of all, of how crazy Ashlyn is to be willing to bike all that distance, not consider moving to one of these houses over here. Because I want to say these neighborhoods are comparable in price. She's still residing over here. That's okay. Maybe she likes a workout. But it's possible to make that trip, and that's really important. I am curious, what does our traffic situation look like? It has not improved. So we've got more work to do. So let's continue looking over here at our situation. So this is going to potentially be kind of a cheap way to deal with this. But I'm curious about whether, well, first of all, let's look at our transit routes. There's something going on with our bus routes. So I cannot recall why I put this bus route here. Actually, I know exactly why I put this bus route here. I put this as a turnaround for the train station. And truthfully, it is far more damaging to have that there than it would be to add a short stub cul-de-sac turnaround right here. So, rather than having that route right here, let's just terminate it. We need transit facilities in this area, but I don't think that this, what I know is a pretty extensive bus route. Well, maybe not. Maybe extensive is being a little generous with it. But, having this route here is not helping. I don't know that it's linking this up in the way that it should. And it's adding buses there. So at least we've taken those away at this point. So what else could we do? I noticed that there is a flow of traffic, and that flow is generally, looks like everyone's going this way, which I guess would be left. So why don't we add a collector through here by having a one-way road? We'll have a couplet of one-way roads. Okay, so that in my mind is a good improvement. The other issue that we're having here is that there's cut-through traffic in this area that is not really benefiting the city. We also, so we have these industry roads. Interesting. So these are concrete. So in an industrial area, that's clearly what we would want. We'd have a lot of rutting with asphalt, and the pavement would fail sooner. Concrete, you could expect the life to probably be double. So I wouldn't even consider these industrial roads necessarily. A concrete road, I consider them high longevity roads. You don't want them everywhere, but there's certainly applications where it makes sense. This would be one. So there's this road right here that I'm not sure that it's benefiting us. It seems like we've got a lot of this traffic coming through here. What I might do, so I wish I could just cul-de-sac this off and leave it without disrupting the buildings here, but I know that's not possible. That said, I'm still going to cul-de-sac it. I'll provide access to those buildings. This will be access management 101. And then we'll add some landscaping here. So we have a pedestrian connection, no more road connection, and then we will fix our zoning here. And now we can at least have a full district there and fill this up with maximum density. So now what this will do is kind of force that traffic around, because what was happening before was not a useful movement. So this might take a second to resolve, so I'm just going to speed it up for a second and see what happens. So it looks like that's making a pretty significant difference. Let's take a look at our transportation. We're back up to 80. I am curious, where are most of these vehicles going? And right now it says nowhere. So, I have cyclists only on. Okay, so there is a lot of traffic here, but it's a lot better. All right, so I'm pleased. We've got this back up to 8. Why did I click back in here? Now that I look, it's dipping down again. And I'm not in love with that. It looks like the flow is better, which to me means the backups are occurring in other places. Sure enough. So one of the unfortunate things, I'm allowing a crossing right here at the roundabout now. Shoot. Yeah, that's not what we want. People aren't backing up because of that, though. Let's just make sure we don't have any stop signs or craziness going on here. No. This is just... there's a lot of pressure on this junction at this point, and we're seeing a little bit of failure as a result. So I'm reluctant to add another lane to this, but that might be a solution. Ooh. So if there were arterials all the way around here, I would be completely on board, but we have 2 collectors and an arterial and an arterial. It's not a great solution. This might be an area we have to look at in the future, and the appropriate solution here is not completely apparent to me at this time. And it looks like it's failing intermittently. And maybe failing's not even the right word. It's just very congested. Where else do we have issues? There aren't really many areas that seem to be doing all that poorly. This is an area that bugs me. I'd like to get a collector through here at some point. We just have the constraint of the right-of-way. We don't have enough right-of-way to add this, so that might end up staying. We've got some queuing right here. Let's take a look at our junctions here. We have a stop sign. I could just turn that off, but that's not very realistic. And then we have some slowdown here as well. Still not that big of a deal. Yeah, we're up to 80. We're kind of bouncing around. We probably need to start thinking about some of our transit routes and this crazy queuing we have of trams and things like that. At some point, we're just going to, I think, need to do a lot with our transit, because we have some areas that aren't functioning as they should at this point. But truthfully, bouncing around 80 might be the best we get right now. I'd say that this would also probably be a great place for a roundabout if we were willing to eminent domain the entire area, but that's pretty unreasonable. This whole area is still pretty messed up. We've got transit routes over here that are not working appropriately. For some reason, people are still deciding to line up at this bus route. I know we looked at this like 10 episodes ago, and you have all these people just deciding, I'm going to time out. I'm going to pull my car out of my pocket and jump in right here. So that's another issue. Maybe removing that bus route would do some good, because then they'd hop on the tram or the subway or something. But lots of different things to consider. You had the exact same problem over here, where all of these cars are spawning at the harbor and people are deciding that that is the right way to go. Are these filling up? Yeah, they're filling up. And there's way too many of them. So there's a lot of transit related issues. So that's probably one of the next things we need to look at. But I think we're in a good spot for today. Before I forget, I want to rename one road in particular. So in the comments of the previous video, one of the commenters posted that their father has been a firefighter for a number of years, and it would be a great honor for them to have this road going straight through the firefighters park named in their father's honor. So we are going to do that right now. So Chief Gonzalez Parkway. And, I could probably get into a lot of detail with other roads, but I think that I'm going to just hold out. In the next episode, we are going to focus on just some detailing stuff that we're falling behind on. We need to decorate this roundabout, even if we might need to make some configuration changes. Myrtle Park, it's in a bad spot. We still need the candy shop in the club district. And lots of roads over here are just not right. Our districts aren't right. We can make some changes to make this better. But right now, I think we're in as good a spot as we're going to be for today. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. Traffic flow bouncing around still, but it looks better in this district. Let's take a look, see if we have any garbage issues, because that was a concern. Looking good. We got our cemeteries filling up. Awesome. And I think we're in a good spot today. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider hitting the like button. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And if you want to be notified when I make new videos just like this one, please hit the notification icon. I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. You guys are a huge help to the channel. You help me reinvest in the channel and help me keep creating the content that I'm making. And you can see their names here. And I do want to thank all of you that are viewing my videos. I am truly appreciative of your support. I am going to leave you with a brief city tour. Thank you. Bye-bye. What?